do you think for most businesses that, like focus on those sorts of relatively small expenses, but persistent, and the ones that move in lockstep with your scale, are they worth optimizing at an early stage, or is it maybe something that you optimize later?
Yeah, it's a good question. I have a mixed feeling about that. We actually use Stripe for everything. For me, it's kind of that consistency thing. I know some people have had issues with Stripe. Knock on wood, I've never had issues with Stripe, and I know what I'm getting, and I know they're reliable, and I know my customers trust them. So for me, sure, I could probably save a little bit if I switch to a little lesser known processor, but I don't necessarily know the downside that comes with that. And the last thing that I want to do is move to a bad processor. And then 1 month I just have to stop everything and switch back to Stripe or have to move for XYZ reason. But like you said, we focus on ACH. So I made a post about this recently. We offered at all of our companies, going back to FreeUp, AccountsBalance, Trio SEO, EcomBalance, AccountsBalance. If you pay with ACH, we just give you a 1% discount on everything. So it's a win for you. It's a win for us. We save on ACH fees. There's other benefits. ACH gets declined less than credit cards. So you spend a little less time chasing people. Not always the case, but usually. And so, that's a big part of it as well. So we still use Stripe just because they're kind of the industry standard and I know what I'm getting. But that ACH definitely factors in. And if you use someone like Fat Merchant, I forget what they changed their name to, although they only work with very specific businesses, sure, you can save a lot of money on fees, but make sure you're not putting yourself in a bad position down the line.
How do you think people should be thinking about that sort of, those sort of like really they're minimal expenses, but they are persistent. And I think for a lot of business owners, it's the persistency that gets them.
I have a certain mental note of just things that if I'm going to start a business, I'm going to have to pay for. And I won't start a business unless I know I have to pay for them and I know that the business can cover them. And that can be legal and filing expenses, CPA, bookkeeping, hosting, some kind of email software, whether it's ActiveCampaign. I know that I'm not starting a business unless I'm going to use ActiveCampaign, and Stripe fees fall into that category. And if you start a business, you have to be able to cover these things. Like you're not going to go out of business because of your bookkeeping expense, especially if you're small. That can be hundreds of dollars a month. You will go out of business if you don't understand your numbers and you're making bad decisions. And same thing with processor. You're probably not going out of business because of the 2.9% that Stripe charges. You could go out of business if you sign up with the wrong processor and somehow that hurts you in some way and you have to spend 2 months trying to sort out that mess. That's kind of how I look at it.